Caution is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Gen 7. Quick caveat though, we have not completed the campaign. We have done 2 missions.
And that's enough.
So, read into that what you will. For me, it's not that I don't want to continue the campaign. I don't want to record the campaign.
Oh.
That's kind of where I'm at. I don't want to make this a series for the channel because I don't think, out of the 2 missions we played so far, I don't think it's going to be a strong enough series. How I decide to do series for the channel is if I think, would I watch this? Like if I was watching a video game Let's Play, do I like the game enough to continue watching it? I don't think that this game will have that staying power. So, because we don't change enough to merit, like, oh wow, what kind of upgrades are they going to get? Or what kind of new things are going to kind of pop in that would make it intriguing. Who knows, they could take a complete, hard left and just be awesome. However, I would just rather experience that, and we've shown enough of what the game actually plays like. So that's where I'm coming from in terms of this not being a series, which, in case you guys didn't notice, I didn't mention it was going to be a series at the beginning of the run-through. I was just like, hey, we're playing Gen 7, we're at Mission 2. Let's talk negatives first, because I like to end on positives. Are there any negatives that stand out for you guys for this game? Because I have a few.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they're pretty big negatives.
Oh, I just have one for sure.
Okay, what's yours?
For I would say the last 2 rounds, I was just kind of like, I just do, just put me wherever you need me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how I felt. Like, my first round felt really strong, and then I was like, it just went downhill from there, where I was
You talking about the first round?
The first full, number 1.
The first episode?
No.
No.
Oh, the first actual round.
Yeah.
The first round of this.
The only rounds that are in here.
Okay.
And it was strong because I got to do my thing. Like, I got one of my objectives out because I wanted to help myself, and then I wanted to help you guys. But then it's like, well, I'm not doing us any favors if I don't help you. So
right.
I guess my biggest thing is, why make it semi-cooperative? That was one complaint that led right into another.
It's not. It initially leads you to think it's going to be semi-cooperative,
Yeah.
which I tend to very much dislike semi-co-ops. Unless they do it right. So obviously I'm going to be making some comparisons to Dead of Winter. Kat can chime in, you unfortunately can't.
Nope. Sure I can. This is space zombie / robot, and then Dead of Winter's winter robots.
There you go, you got it.
Zombies.
That was it.
I've never played the other one.
So they lead you to believe with this merit track that you're competing, like, oh, well, I'm trying to get the most points, so
yeah.
I don't want to help you. But after finding out that, oh, it literally just gets you abilities in a higher rank, so you kind of can dictate the way the story goes, which is not fun for anyone.
No.
If like, oh, okay, well, my rank's 3 and you guys are rank 1 and 1, great, I vote up, you both vote down, I still win.
Yeah.
So we're going to do what I want, or whoever's in the lead. That's a pretty bad negative, because then one person's having fun, the other ones are pissed off because they're not. It's like, why the fuck am I even trying?
For instance, the 2 or 3 times where we've done votes, I think 2 of those 3 times you and I voted the same thing and Kat didn't.
Kat voted different, and then I was the tiebreaker. So obviously I'm voting for the one that I voted for.
Yeah.
So... yeah, and that's kind of a letdown for anyone who is wanting to see how the story goes, because you're essentially along for the ride at that point. It's not developing in a way that you want.
Which, I mean, I guess it's true to real life, because, like, you don't get what you want in real life. You get what happens.
Right.
Get what the majority
But, as I've said many, many times, mechanics, like, thematic mechanics don't make good game mechanics. Because it's like, well, that's thematic. Yeah, I'm a higher rank, so you pretty much do what I say. Great. However, this is a game. You want to play the game and enjoy the game, and if you're not doing that, then what's the point?
I feel like whenever we have to say, like, oh, well, thematically in real life, like what I just said, basically, like, when I have to say that, it's kind of like in real life when you say, oh, everything happens for a reason. Like, that's
Right.
kind of the equivalent.
God has a plan. When you say things like that. So, yeah, that was actually a negative I hadn't considered, was the ranking system and the merit track being semi-cooperative. Because there were multiple times where you were like, well, I want to be selfish and go after this.
Yeah, because if
It's
you
like-
don't, you lose points.
You'll lose merit points, but that's it.
Yeah.
Like, and already that doesn't really affect anything.
But then it comes back down to someone's gonna get ahead.
Mm-hmm. Like, I ended at 53, Josh at 43, and you at 21. So.
Did you only end at 53?
Yeah.
Oh, for some reason I thought you were a lot higher. Oh.
Yeah.
Wrong token. I was like, wait a
Yeah,
minute.
53. So it's like, so I'm going to get a rank up and then other ability points, and that could potentially go into mine because I completed another one of my objectives. So it's like, I kind of feel like that once one person gets ahead, they're gonna stay that way unless they really just, unless everyone else is like, fuck the missions, fuck the story, I'm gonna go after my merit.
Which is what I was trying to do initially.
And then it's like, okay, well, great, you're doing what you want. However, everyone else is pissed because now we're getting screwed.
And that's why I
and all
was
that
like,
stuff.
it's
like,
not.
why don't you guys? It's like, why don't you help? Sorry, and that's the problem with semi-cooperatives. Is like a good example. I'm not gonna name the game, but there's a game that recently came out where it's like it was a final boss fight. And whoever kills the boss wins the game. Then the boss regenerates, and then everyone else has to kill it. But you can help someone else win. However, whenever you first fight them, you don't know that's the case. So it's like, oh yeah, I'll help you kill it. Oh, you killed it, you win, I don't. Well then, fuck you. I'm never helping you. Like, it completely semi-cooperative is pretty much competitive, and that's why it never works. However, in Dead of Winter, it kind of does, because and it's that trader mechanic. In Dead of Winter, you have a secret objective, similar to the ones that we have, except they don't give you merit points. They are an objective on how you win the game. So, in Dead of Winter, you have a full mission that everyone is trying to complete, but you have a secret objective that makes you seem like you're the trader, like hold 6 cards of food, and food is a huge resource, so it's like, hey, well, this crisis card, we need to contribute food. Sorry, I can't help, but I have 10 cards in my hand. And it's like, bullshit, you can't help. But I need to hold that. Because if you win the objective, but not your secret objective, you lose. But there is a chance that someone can have a trader card, which is completely different. They don't have to win the main thing, or they're trying to sabotage it, or they're potentially helping. It varies. That kind of works because everyone knows that, oh, you need to do that. Everyone is kind of like, okay, well, why aren't you helping? What do you need to do? Stuff like that. So that kind of semi-cooperative nature works in trader mechanic games. However, this does not have that at the moment.
Because we're not that
Because
far.
we're not that far. And if it does, then fine, but that should have been a thing from the get-go. You shouldn't add a trader later on, because then you've already had this whole campaign where you're kind of invested in the story, which is kind of negative on my end, and I'll get to that in a sec. But then it's like, okay, well now no one's definitely helping everyone, so everyone's just getting screwed, unless maybe the trader isn't. So yeah, that's a negative for me. The other negative that I had, unless Josh, you had any.
I mean, I don't like the fact that in the same round, it increasingly gets more and more difficult in the same round. Just because, like, because we get to the third part of this round, and it's just insanity, because we got to where everybody had to have a mission card, everybody had to do that, and then we had an additional rule that gave us a 4th critical, or an extra one.
That came up later.
Yes. And
it's essentially you're not really playing this part, you're literally just doing all that.
yeah, it's like you have to make sure this is done so none of those go down, because if those go down, it hurts overall.
Right.
And
Right.
It's just,
And that's not. And in all reality, the game mechanics really aren't that fun.
no.
Like there's interesting choices and dice manipulation, but you're literally doing math. the entire game. Like, this would be a great game to teach in, like, beginner's algebra, pre-algebra. It's like, okay, well, over here, why does this work? Well, they're all the same value. Great! You did it! Like,
there's a lot of people who do have that mind geared towards math. Growing up, my best friend did math on her downtime. Like,
really?
yeah, at home, not just of her own will, just wanted
Yeah.
to do math. I'm not that person. If I can avoid it, I do.
Right, like, I don't want to sit here and, I mean, the dice, that was so weird. That's such a weird way to do this game. It doesn't make any thematic sense. Like, yeah, they're your crew people, but you fucking tie in these dice. I thought they were for something else when I unboxed the game. But I'm like, wait, these are the workers? You're rolling dice, and that's how you determine how many people you get. Well, actually, only in the computer division. Everywhere else where you go, you just get that. And then you use, essentially the dice values are only important in the critical tasks. Like, nothing else, at least so far, popped up that it mattered. I don't like that. Like, this could have been so much better with, I don't like the layout of the 3 divisions. It's boring to look at. It's kind of boring to place.
I wish it was just one game board.
Yeah.
That was designed to look like a
Right.
ship. I mean, I guess it kind of looks like a ship.
Not really. It's pretty lackluster in overall presence and aesthetics. Because Dead of Winter does this different tier system. You have one board that is the colony, and then the other locations you can go to are all separate, boards. And they have their own deck, because you can search through them for items and stuff, and so on and so forth for things that you need. However, you actually have your own character. You're a token guy that has an ability. And then you can have more people that you can spread out. So the more people you have, the more things you can do. But this one is just like, okay, great, we just need dice. Like, we need dice to do math over here. We need resources to be able to do the critical tasks. Okay, that's pretty much it. That's what you do for 4 rounds.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, and occasionally, yeah, you have to go to the operations division and have the same value. Great, you place a token. Or the first mission, spoilers, I guess I should have said that at the beginning, but you have where everyone needs to go to one location and then do something to place a token. That's one variant in a probably hour and a half long game.
Per episode.
Per episode, right.
Longer than an hour and a half.
So it's like, there's not enough meat here to actually, like, warrant, like, oh, let's keep going.
I also, personally, I don't know how much it costs to make all this, but you said it was $80.
This game is $80.
For it to be this boring, that's,
It's a big old slap in the
yeah.
face.
Yeah, so that's actually another big negative, is there are a plethora of games, especially nowadays, that have innovative stories, innovative mechanics, and an actual campaign feel. Now, some of them are a little bit more expensive, but they also give you your bang for your buck. This game, even in presence alone, like if I were to unbox Gloomhaven and be like, hey, this is all you get. This is what you get for $100. People would look at that and be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially after they play the game. Yeah, I'd pay $100 for this. If I showed people this and played this, yeah, you get some colored dice and 6 boards. Oh, and some envelopes that you get to open. Oh, how much is it? Like 50? No, it's 80. Why? Like, I understand you have to pay the people who made it, but what did they do? What did they do that was so different than any other fucking game that has the same, component quality, not for this price? They have a plot book. Okay, cool. How about I break out this War of Mine, which is also less than this and has a plot book and a campaign and is an actual great thematic game, survival game, versus this. What this also does, and I don't know what it is about sci-fi campaigns that I've done, First Martians, the game that we played that took, a 50-minute video and reading the rulebook twice to figure out how to play the game. It has that same lackluster story. It's like they tried to be super technical with sci-fi. It's like, if you're going to do sci-fi, be fun about it. Be Star Wars, Star Trek about it. Don't be, oh, we have an AI named Karen. Oh, there's a virus. It's like, who gives a shit? I don't care. Like, every decision that we made so far, I did not care about. It could have gone one way or another, and I would not have cared how it panned out.
Yeah.
So that's really like my biggest Well, okay, so tied into that, yeah, you have the $80 price point, which is just straight up garbage, and yeah, like you said, a slap in the face.
Yeah.
At this point, I mean, because it's like Plaid Hat makes great games. Stuff Fables,
Yeah.
they've made Mice and Mystics campaign games, better quality than this, cheaper. Well, Mice and Mystics not anymore, but it was.
Yeah.
You have what else did they do? Dead of Winter is a fan favorite. It's the reason why people are buying this game, because it's that crossroads mechanic.
It's just kind of just a slap in the face to your fan base.
It sounds like and so
it truly is the Mass Effect Andromeda.
It's the Andromeda of the Mass Effect
It's the
series.
Fallout 76 of board games, and it's a real shame. And I actually didn't have this negative feeling whenever we started the discussion, but as we keep talking about it, the more I'm actually frustrated at how much this costs.
Yeah, I would be too.
And because I was like, you know what, I don't know if it's going to be that good, but I mean, it's Plaid Hat and it's Crossroads. Dead of Winter is phenomenal with their Crossroads system, because I like the Crossroads idea where, you know, it's not an event that happens every single turn. It's, hey, this might happen, and it's another thematic tie-in. Dead of Winter, it's like, hey, if you go, because you draw the Crossroads card at the beginning of a player's turn, and throughout their entire turn, they can do something that could trigger it. And they do out-of-game elements, like there's one, if someone yawns, then it can trigger. Or if someone scratches their head, then it can trigger. Or if it's like, hey, if this particular person, like character, let's say I'm controlling, I don't remember anyone's name, but Devin, if he goes to the gas station, this happens. And it could be some awesome event that you still have to make difficult choices that may or may not lead someone to believe you're the traitor.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it's like, well, and because you read the options and you can watch them make the choice, and it's like, why would you do that? We need supplies.
One thing I really didn't get was the officer, like, dice. Is the officer me, or is the officer...
The officer is you.
Okay.
As the player. And then these people are, like Kat said, your assistant. That there are crossroad cards that tie into them, and that's the relationship. I've heard in another review that how the story goes is based off of your reaction. Basically, the example he gave was, if you're nice to someone the entire game, then the story will develop as you being nice. Or if you're mean to someone, then they turn out to be a villain. So it's kind of very linear in how... So it's not like if I was nice to someone, they can still turn out to be a shithead. It's like, wow, I was mean to them, and they turned out to be mean. Weird. So it just seems kind of a one-track mind. And I don't know, I haven't finished it, but that's what I'm guessing. So there's that. The rulebook is straight up garbage. That's another negative I had. They completely missed. I don't know if it's somewhere else in the fucking box. Maybe it's another envelope you open where they give you the rest of the rulebook. But it's literally a setup and a rules reference. They teach you how a round goes, and then the rest of it is a rules reference. It's like, but I don't know what to do. Like our first mission, we didn't record specifically because we didn't know how to play the game.
Yeah.
And even then, there were still aspects of it we didn't understand by the end.
Yeah, there's been multiple games we've done where we learned it and then recorded it at the very end and still did a fine job playing the game. But this one, we were like, no, it told us what the round breakdown is, but it didn't tell us what we do. I'm like, do we place these dice? And then once we started reading the boards, I was like, oh, so yes, we do place our dice here, and we do this. And then it all started coming together. But where they failed was Fantasy Flight has two rulebooks. One that's, hey, here's a succinct rulebook. You read this, you know how to play the game. Then there's a rules reference if you want to delve deeper. It's like, oh, well, so how the critical tasks work? You go to the rules reference. But they gave you an overview already. So if you want to know more in depth, you go to a rules reference. That's where they messed up. This is not a rule book. This is literal trash. And I hated it. Secret missions made no sense. Like, it was just like, oh, hey, great, that happened. I literally never looked at them. Oh, I actually completed all three of mine because none of our system things went down.
Oh yeah, I completed one.
So
I
we all have the same one, but or the same one from round to round.
Yeah.
But then it's just like I never look at those until I'm just like, oh, okay.
I looked at them once, but vaguely. I
Yeah.
was like, oh.
In Dead of Winter, I'm constantly looking at it because it's an integral part. That's how you win
Yeah.
the game. But it's one of the ways.
Yeah.
It's I mean, if this was $60, $50, $60, sure, I'd give it a better pass.
Because it's an average price for games. Like, I've kind of learned to gauge the price of games now, and so when you said 80, I was like, oh no.
That's pretty high.
Yeah.
Especially whenever like you can get a very better like story experience from Arkham Horror. Deep Madness. Well, that's a Kickstarter. Fucking Fog of Love.
Yeah.
But you can get a better.
Tales of Arabian Nights.
You can get a better story from Honshu than you can from this game, and that's a real shame because I was very excited. All of these, literally, none of them are exciting.
Nope.
Nothing's exciting.
It's just
all it
another...
is stress.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Every time I was thinking about those, I was like, just what number do you need? Just
Yeah.
what number do you need? I'll give it
And
to
it's
you.
not the good stress that gives you, like, euphoria after. It's not like Bloodborne or Dark Souls.
Right.
It's not like, oh my god, it's so stressful, and then you get through with it, and you're like, oh, my game.
Yeah, it's just, you're, like, you had that stress and you're like, what was this for? It was literally so this wouldn't go down by a notch. That's it. Like, it's not like, oh god. And then the missions. Oh boy. Yeah, and whenever I got my upgrade from the last one, I didn't care. I was like, I guess I'll spend it and pick this one. Sure.
Yeah.
You can have 5 of them. Great. I'm going to have a higher rank. I'm going to get some more of these, rank points that I can spend. Yippee.
Yeah.
It's just, it's insulting, is really what it is.
How dare.
So,
They just missed the mark on
I mean, and here's my theory. Whenever Dead of Winter came out, they announced, oh, this is the first of a Crossroads series. Well, not a series, like it's not a campaign of board games, but there's going to be more Crossroads games. It's like, great. Then they announced the next one was going to be sci-fi. People assumed, oh, Dead of Winter theme, sci-fi. You reach a lot of people that way, because a lot of people like sci-fi. Personally, I like fantasy. I don't care a whole lot about sci-fi, because they end up doing stuff like this, and it's always boring. But anyway, then they released a Dead of Winter expansion, and then another expansion, and then years later, they finally released this one, and I don't know if they were working on it that long, or if they were like, oh, people really want a sci-fi Crossroads, here you go, and this, we need to pay our people to do this, so please give us money. It's like, are you a failing company? Like, I don't know how you justify an $80 price point. I don't. In fact, I don't even think it was, I think that's how much I paid for it because I got it off a website. So if I go to their website, let's see, Gen 7, Plaid.
And this is just coming from me, because I'm more of a video game person over board games, just because I haven't been big into board games until you and I became close.
Right.
Most games, $60. I mean, they give you that extra bonus bullshit if you pay more.
Oh no.
This is $100.
Now?
No, this is
On
off
website.
their store.
So Seth got
It's
it at a
$80
discount.
because I get it off of a third party. You buy directly from them, it is $100.
That's
Absolutely
no.
not.
That's a hard pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, that extra, no.
Fuck that.
Like, it
They have
sounds-
an expansion.
Oh no.
It's $35. The breaking point.
Like, I would pay $80 for, like, a video game that comes with a season pass and all of that. If I like the game enough, of course.
Yeah. No. I don't, that's just one of those things, I don't know where they thought they could get away with that price point. That's absolutely ridiculous. Because I know it sounds petty when you're like, that's just $20 extra. Fuck no! Like,
Because you
for what?
You have to-
exactly, like, you can't, even if this had a stellar story, the component-wise does not merit $100.
The gameplay's
First of all,
boring.
this game is 7 rounds, or 7 episodes. So, now there's different choices, like this isn't all 7, like I skipped a whole bunch in episode 2 that we didn't do. So, it has replayability, however, unless we're following the fucking boring one, I cannot.
You can't justify
Yeah,
it.
you can't justify
You guys need
$100.
to do more of what I'm doing, which is thumbs down.
I guess.
So
like,
you're telling me, I've never played Gloomhaven, but this costs as much as Gloomhaven.
Yeah, no
Gloomhaven has
fucking way.
90 episodes.
Yeah.
90.
And miniatures.
Actually, even more. And some miniatures, and a shit ton of tokens, and an actual campaign, which is also choice-based. So how you play, like, you won't do all 90 in a straight shot. You might, I don't know how many you'll do, because I'm not done. It's taken me a year to do, like, 8. But I have had, like, you make characters, your characters upgrade, like an RPG. This one, fucking $100. So...
That's so stupid.
So let's end on that shithole of a note, because I can't think of anything good at this point.
At this point,
Everything I'm going to say that could be positive turns into a negative because of that price point.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, like, all you have to do is, that's not worth $100, and then leave. That's it.
Yeah. Because, like, it's not, these aren't fat envelopes. Like, I can... Oh, this is another board. Oh, look, this feels like another operations division.
Yeah,
Okay,
you hold
great.
it up to the light, you can see.
Oh, wow, it looks like another operation division. Wow, so maybe, let's see, there's 6, maybe 15 pieces of cardboard, and then these lame-ass chits.
I mean, for $100, at least give us, like, little metal robots. Instead of...
Metal robots. Give us
Hell,
fucking
you know-
figures of these
Yeah.
people.
Or, how about you actually do a good game? Scythe is a 7-episode, or 7 to 10 campaign, and it already tells a better story than
It has
what this.
I would play
Yeah.
Scythe. I would play the first episode of Scythe like 5 times in a row before we play this again.
Right. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, let's go with a scale of 1 to 10. And 10 being perfect, 5 being average, and 1 being gutter shit.
Is this Josh's first Crossroads game?
Yeah,
It is.
we'll have to play Dead of Winter, so you can actually experience a good
So,
Crossroads game.
from a first experience, the game is playable. We just keep shitting on it, and when I found out it's $100,
Yeah.
80 was stretching it. Then when I was like, oh, on your website it's 100. That's not even including shipping.
Yeah. Oh, at 80 we were already
Unless
mad.
they do $100 and then you get free shipping. But ugh.
I'll give it. I'll be generous. I'll give it a 4.
All right, below average.
I was gonna land it at like a solid 3 because I just wasn't interested except for one round out of the whole thing.
That's where I'm at.
And I was
like,
incredibly confused the first game.
It was in between 3 and 4.
yeah,
I'll be generous.
I'm sitting at a 3. If it was a reasonable price, $50, it'd probably be a 5.
Yeah.
I'd give it an average game. Maybe if the story picked up, it could be a 6. I don't see the story being so mind-blowing.
It's the same shit that sci-fi always does. Ooh, robot!
Oh, there's someone on the ship that's sabotaging it? Who knew?
And it upsets me because I like fantasy more, but I am a big sci-fi person.
Right.
And there's so much more you can do.
Like, if you did... I don't know. I don't know.
Granted, I know there's only so much originality you can do,
Right.
but, like, there's so much sci-fi stuff that you
Like,
can
here's
blend.
the thing. You can justify art, or you can justify a steep price point if you have artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, I had to pay the artist, because they did all this. There's nothing here. Like, there's artwork on the back of the barracks cards, so that's pretty neat, and it's good artwork.
It's
The
just
cover
the
looks
zoom in.
lame as hell.
Yeah,
It literally is a zoom in of the
It's
cover.
this,
I
but
know.
it's bigger.
But the crew synergy is just an icon. You have whatever this guy.
The portraits look nice,
Yeah.
but I mean, that doesn't justify $100.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm sitting at a 3. So, that's Gen 7, everyone. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this, and if you like this video, then click the subscribe button below to enjoy any video that I put out. And right next to that subscribe button is a little bell. Click that so you get notified of whenever I actually upload these videos. If you want to support the channel, you can definitely visit my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.